to connect with those who are not able to join tonight. So without further ado, allow me to pass the microphone to Engineer Sassia. Welcome, Engineer.
Thank you very much, Ses. Sorry, my video is off because I've just lost power now. So I've switched on video because I'm in the dark. And because I'm going to project my screen, I don't think that will be a really big issue. I don't know why power decided to misbehave now. So, Ses, am I up? Can I be heard?
Yes, you are up. We can hear you very, very well.
Thank you very much. So, guys, sorry, I've lost power, so I'm in the dark, but we can continue doing it on the screen. It's not necessary for me actually to be seen because I'm sharing my screen. So, for the people who have joined, my name is Fred Sassia, and I joined KU in the year 2009. Registration number DWE/100/09. I happened to have schooled the same time with SES, but SES was a few months behind me when I joined. And I had a very big group of classmates. I don't know whether some have joined or will join. But later in life, after doing the engineering course, of course, normally you try to look for a job. I've been a technician before. And I proceeded on to study CPA, Certified Public Accounting. Went up to level 4. Worked as an accountant in a government company, Chemelil Sugar, for those who know. For about 8 months, resigned from the job, came back to Nairobi, normal hustle, looking for another job. Took up a factory job in a company called Ashut Engineering. For those who have heard of the company, basically they manufacture plastic packaging. So I took up a general job. The intention was from the general job I would get to the maintenance team because I had the engineering background. But that was my intention, but it didn't happen like that. So I worked for about 2 years as a general worker, doing interviews for the technical, hoping that I would join the engineering team. Unfortunately, that did not happen. And there's a guy who scouted me. There was this, if you've worked with unions, in companies with unions, so there was this engagement between union and management. Actually, we had called labeled it BBI. So if you work in a factory, you know, a big number of the employees in the factory are not well educated. So sometimes they'll struggle in how they air their views to the management. So that was in the year 2020, actually. So I took advantage after about 4 or 5 meetings, prepared a speech and all the areas that I wanted to speak about. So before the management, the company owners, there was a consultant, the union top leadership, and about 3/4 of the employees. I gave my speech clearly indicating what was troubling the employees, where I felt management was failing, and my suggestions in terms of management trying to come in and support people. So out of that speech, I was recognized, and an opportunity was floated to me to become an admin assistant in the office of the HR. At the same time, the union had approached me to become a chief shop steward. No, sorry, as the secretary to the union committee. So I had 2 opportunities. The union one was, of course, not a professional job, but the one that would just push me to continue to fight for the staff. And the other one now was the one that would take me professionally, but then not in my area of study. But then I decided I would take the professional one. So I joined the admin assistant. I was performing some functions in safety, production reporting, Then, of course, by default, I was sitting in the HR department. I started learning human resource. So along the way, I used to do human resource for about 1.5 years, but still applying for engineering jobs because I was in denial. I did not know that I've moved and I'm a human resource now. So I was applying for engineering and optionally accounting because now I had academics. I had studied CPA. So that went on and on until sometime in 2021 when I made a decision that I believed I had known HR and developed an interest. So I took myself back to school, University of Nairobi, studied human resource. Good enough, I was studying and at the same time working. So God took me through that, of course. Before graduation, I got another job, again in the field of human resource. That's how I continued in the human resource to the level that now I'm a human resource manager in a manufacturing setup. I sell sleep. That's what I like telling people. We manufacture mattresses, premium mattresses, of course. And I like saying we manufacture sleep. So that is me in a nutshell, because guys will be wondering how from engineering, especially those we studied with, now to human resource. That is just a glimpse of my journey. And that's how I got now to become a human resource person. So just wanted to introduce myself because before we go back to actually the reason to why we are here. If you discover that my internet is buffing, I would appreciate if someone just mentions. And if you have a question in between my talking, Seth can just interrupt and give you an opportunity. So the poster read Engineers Training Workshop, and I chose to label my slide like so. But I wanted to give a small just understanding of what is the psychology of interviewers. So I coded this, the psychology of interviewers, but if you look at the content, it will look like what you need to do for you to have a successful interview. But I'm also relating that to what interviewers look at as the interview. So my official name is Frederick Sassia. I'm a human resource expert, water technician, and a little bit of finance. So we go back to what we are looking at. So my contents today, I want to look at understanding the interviewer psychology. Number two is learn interview hygiene and preparation. Number three is master dress code and professional presentation. And then, of course, that ought to have been, I don't know why I mixed the numbers. I'm sorry for that. That ought to have been practical tips to impress technical interviewers or to be impressed in a technical interview. So number one, understanding the interviewer that is. So one thing that I like telling people, when you sit in an interview, you just need to be aware that you are technical, for instance, in your field. And in most cases, the people who are interviewing you are not very well knowledgeable in your field. So you need to have the confidence that you're talking to people who don't know what you're talking about. All they're interested in is to see your confidence, your communication, your attitude, and all the other general aspects. In terms of technical, they've seen your CV and believed that you are the right person. I think we'll organize also just a platform to talk about how to earn an interview, because it's a whole big topic that most of us get locked out. So we proceed. So interviewers evaluate both technical skills and personality. The technical skills, the interview understanding on the area you're interviewing on. But majorly, 60% of the interview is normally about personality. And why? Technical skills can be taught. Personality is sometimes very difficult to teach an adult about personality, attitude, communication, and behavior. So sometimes you would have a compromise in terms of your technical capability, but personality yako iko fiti. So me as a panelist, I will choose a person with the best personality and little or limited knowledge in the technical, as opposed to a guy with a very top technical skills, but exhibiting a poor personality. And that applies to most interviewers. Number two, I want us to look at the common cognitive biases when an interviewer is interviewing you. Those are actually, what I mean by that is the mind and the internal feeling of the interviewer as they're asking you questions. So normally, the first one is the first impressions. This one starts right from the time you receive the call. Wakati unaambiwa that we received your profile and we wish to welcome you for an interview, blah, blah, blah. How you respond actually already defines you to the interviewer or the imminent employer. For instance, nimekupigia simu, hello says, how are you? Alafu unanijibu poa. And you notice I was speaking, of course, as an interviewer, as an HR, I'll give you a very professional salutation. I'll ask, good morning, says, how are you? My name is Frederick. Are you in a position to talk? The moment you you listen to that speech or that opening phrase from a call, you just need to know that this person who is calling is very professional. You lose it when you ask, who am I talking to? As a reply to that statement. Your reply should be, good morning, sir. Yes, I'm in a position to talk. Let me listen to you. Then this person will proceed. My name is Frederick. I'm calling you from Nairobi Water Human Resource Department. You've already known who the person is. But you hearing the first salutation and you're asking, who am I talking to? Shows you have, you're not a person who can trust. You're a poor listener and probably you're not a professional, because a professional will listen to the caller and they're able to tell who is calling. Is it a professional person? Is it a con? Is it a friend? Because there's how a friend will call you. Rafiki atakwambia, mambo bro. Mambo says, for somebody saying good morning, how are you? Are you in a position to talk? That's a professional person. Number two is confirmation bias. They are looking actually, an interview already knows the person they're interviewing, but all along, they're just looking for things to confirm the assumptions. And the assumptions are normally, are you a good candidate or are you a bad candidate? They have those two assumptions in their mind. So all the questioning, all the calls, all the texting, they are looking for things to confirm the assumptions. Number three is the halo effect. What I've explained in point one, and also the moment you arrive at the reception, you've come for this interview. Normally, I tell the receptionist, whenever candidates are coming in, what is your view? How did they come in? They'll tell you, huyu hata hakunisalamia, huyu ni muoga, huyu alikuja na kierere. The interview already started at the reception. When you come in with a professional demeanor, just say, hello, how are you? My name is Frederick. I have come here because of an interview, and I've come to see Madam Says. You see, that is quite professional, but also don't exhibit fear on your face. Talk with a lot of confidence, lakini pia chunga sana usionekane uko na kierere. You are sitting at the reception already, you are asking, na nikuulize hii kampani yenu iko na employees wangapi? Or somebody comes to say hi to you, please give us 10 minutes, we'll start the interview. And you're asking the reception, huyu amenisalamia ndo nani? Or you are there maybe sometimes saying, na hii interview, watu wangapi washakuja? Hiyo ni kierere. You just be professional, be confident, know that this job is yours. The next one, as an interviewer, I really value clarity, logic, and structured thinking. You think you get a job because you're too technical, but I want to challenge you today. You don't get a job because you're too technical. Otherwise, we have so many technical people in the field. You get a job because of how clear you are, or the interview panel, how logical you are on how you respond to the questions, and you're thinking. I can be able to see you're a smart person. So even if you don't have the technical capability, if given the job, you can actually think out complicated issues. We go to the number two, the psychology behind decisions. So you wonder, we've all studied water engineering. Probably this guy you've worked with, mnajua mko na same experience, you know each other, but one gets the job and the other fails. there is what informs the interviewer for them to make a decision on you or against you. Number one, as an interviewer, I look a lot at the mental shortcuts. How are you responding? Are you a guy showing that you'll apply shortcuts in this job? Or you are going to be professional and try to follow structure? Because remember, in the corporate world, there are things we call policy or policies. These policies sometimes they elongate the route to a solution, but they put in controls. So if I notice you look like a guy who is quite geared towards shortcuts, then I will tell huyu mtu anakuja kutuletea shida. Number two, what guides decision is normally sometimes stress or time constraints. And you know how this affects? You came to the interview late, so you gave the interviewers less time. Number two, you've come to the panel, you are over talking. So you spend a lot of time on the preliminary questions and the panel gets bored. Number two, they lack time to ask you all the questions. So by the time they retreat to make a decision, they don't have a full feeling of you. They do not know whether you are a good guy or you are a bad guy. So they even do not have a very clear feel of you. So you need to be very measured and at the same time very articulate. And again, do not give short answers like no, yes. That shows also a person who cannot contribute to strategy, contribute to the overall development. Give explanations. Huko chini to explain something about star answers, but give explanations in a measured way and with limited speech. Your goal on that panel is to make it easy for them to see you are fit. You know, you are not there to show them how much you know the jargons, the engineering jargons. You want to quote what you learned in school now. Basically, you are there to give the interview an easy time for them to believe that amongst the 20, 30 candidates they've invited, you are the best fit. So all you do on that panel should actually be towards placing the mind of the panel. So read the panel very well. Understand who is technical and who is a human resource and who is just joined the panel to observe. So when they ask questions, do not just answer, think before answering. I hope tuko pamoja. Hello?
Yes, tuko pamoja.
Okay, I wanted to be very clear. Sometimes unaweza jipata uko peke yako. So this is what I was saying. Your goal on an interview panel is to ensure you give the panel an easy decision to choose on you. You don't give them an easy decision by being too technical. You don't give them an easy decision by being too shallow. And you don't give them an easy decision by talking a lot. You need to be smart on that panel. Number three is I wanted to talk about how do we prepare? And the first steps when you're preparing for an interview. I'm not going to so much details because I expect we pop up with questions either at the end or during my presentation. So this is how you prepare. Research the organization and role. Have a full understanding of what role are you interviewing for and what is the expectation. How do you get to know about this? You must access the JD. So if you didn't see the JD when you receive the first call, just ask the person who called to share with you the JD. If they can't share, go on the internet, research about the role and what is expected of people holding such roles. And when you're researching this, you're not researching for internet answers. You're actually trying to understand what role am I interviewing for. So you're trying to get yourself to be very vast with what is it that I'm going to interview for. Number two, understand technical requirements and recent projects. So go to that company website. Kama sisi, I know most of us are water engineers here. Understand what technical projects are they doing? When are they looking at finishing those projects? And go deeper, because you see, when you do that, all your answering and examples You'll base them on what is happening in the company. And these people will know that you've done a research. You'll not be giving them a story of a company that does not exist, but you'll be referencing their company. Number 3 is prepare start stories for behavioral questions. Kuna zile maswali like, tell me about yourself. Those questions are normally very easy yet very hard. I like asking hypothetical questions. I can ask a question like, today, if I told you to jump, what will you do? You know, that question looks so stupid, but how you answer me will make me read a lot about you. The questions where somebody can ask you, I have a motorbike that can carry 25 oranges and have a pickup that the capacity is 500 oranges. And I want to transport these oranges to the market. But then the problem is I don't have 500 oranges and I don't have 25. I have 50 oranges. Tell me how I will transport these oranges to the market. Most candidates will be quick to say, because the motorbike cannot accommodate, cannot carry the 50, I'll take the pickup because it has enough space. It is a brilliant answer. However, it is a very wrong answer. Why? Because if I'm giving you a job, corporates are there to make money. Even if you look at the water companies, they are basically the business of money. And as much as they say, they're serving people. So if you tell me you're taking a pickup to carry 50 oranges to the market, a pickup that has a capacity of 500, a pickup that will take more fuel than the motorbike, a pickup that will need at least 2 people, a driver and a turn boy, I'll just know you're not a person who thinks about cost of operations. Otherwise, a brilliant person will think through and tell me, I'll take the motorbike and do 2 trips. Already you've saved a lot by just utilizing the motorbike for the 2 trips. Now, what are star stories? Okay, I will answer the star stories as we proceed. The interview hygiene. Now that you've come from the panel or you're headed to the panel, what is the overall hygiene when you're preparing for the interview? And when I speak of hygiene, I do not mean you bathing or coming when you are fresh or not fresh. It's a combination of many other things. So one of the interview hygienes is arriving early. I've decided to put 10 or 15 minutes, but understand we have guys who are normally over nervous. So if you are such a person, come at least 30 to 40 minutes. Again, don't come too early, 2 hours to time, 1 hour, 30 minutes. What that causes, it causes anxiety in you. You can imagine seated at the reception for 1.5 hours waiting to be called in. By the time you're being called, your mind is tired. You have developed anxiety. Alafu umeoverrevise kwa akili yako. Umejiuliza maswali ukijibu, mpaka now you are confused and you've memorized now answers. When you memorize on the panel, you look so fake. We want you to have the understanding. We don't want you to give us answers that make you look too smart. Number 2 is always ensure that you have the necessary documentation in a clean folder, very well arranged. Don't come to the panel with an envelope carrying a photocopy of your documents. One, if you're an experienced guy, I know you are disorganized. If you're a guy who's getting to the job market, I know you've not invested in looking for a job. So maybe you are a joker or you're a guy who does not take keen interest to details. So come with a very good folder. They sell at a very cheap prices. Kuna watu wanasema, but unajua folder ni expensive. No. 1,000 utapata a very good plastic folder. It's something you can invest in. Arrange your documents very well in that folder. Mtu akikuuliza documents, you give them the folder. You don't give them an envelope. Number 3, be polite to everyone, not just the interviewer. I know of companies that position security officers at the gate when I inform kuna mtu anakuja interview, when they come, try to be a little bit hard to them. So ukikuja pale unashindwa bana man engineer, huyu soja ananiambia, niwaambie soja, wewe hujui kwanza nitakuwa boss wako, wewe utabaki hapa na kazi. Nitakufuta wewe. Not knowing that guy was positioned to try and test you. So just be very polite. In fact, start laughing with the security. After they've given you that stress, thank you very much. You people are very professional. I've never met a guy like you. Unajua jamaa anabaki akishindwa, wow, the way nimesumbu jamani ambapo unaona nani piga simu nini and all that, but he still believes I'm professional. If that guy was positioned, feedback anapeana is very positive. And you know, for such circumstances, we position them way early and they give us feedback before the panel. So by the time you get to the panel, to show you how you behave to the security. Next, and this applies to our sisters. Avoid strong perfumes or colognes. You don't know the people you're meeting on the panel. Some of them wako na allergy. And some of them wanna hate two perfumes. Na umekuja with a very strong perfume. So before the interview, they already judged you. So huyo mtu hatu kijibu maswali yake right, the early judgment is already biased on you. So you don't get the job. So come with don't come also ukinuka jasho, but have a very moderate cologne or perfume. The one that just makes you fresh, but does not spread to the people seated next to you. Let's look at the elephant, where most people lose interviews, the dress code. How do you dress when you're headed for an interview? You do a business formal or smart casual, depending on the role. Now, watu wengi hupata everything wrong at this stage. You're interviewing for a water technician position, and you come to the panel dressed in a 3-piece suit and a very clean sharpshooter for a man that is. And you think, I came to the panel very well dressed, I'm going to get the job. Believe you me, you've not dressed for the position. Why? A technician job is a job of, you make your hands dirty. So you with your 3-piece, tutakuwa hapa tukikujaji, huyu jamaa na hii suti yake atatoa ingie kwa afunge pipe kweli. Na huyu magic splash akiwa side, ataenda na hii suit. So I'm asking myself questions. So if you're coming for a technical job, do a very smart casual. Take a very good khaki trouser. Shoe, don't do a casual shoe, sport shoe, don't. A good khaki trouser and a good shirt. And you could put on an official pullover. It portrays you professional and a field guy. That these guys wanakujanga kwa interview pia wamevaa jacket. Ama wamevaa, they've dressed in a very funny way. Looks like uliamka tu kaenda. Ama tuwe ni shagi kiplan hivi. You also lose the interview. Then there is now where people also struggle. It affects sometimes ladies and gents. You also come to the interview for a technician job. I'm using that as a good example. And for the ladies, you've come in a high heel. Umepiga makeup vizuri, unakaa your best. You look very nice, of course, congratulations, but you don't look fit for our position. Si tunatafuta mtu mwenye ana dress poa, na tukimtuma field, yeye ni dem, lakini ataingia pale na wale jamaa wa kimesa anaweza ingia pale afunge pipe. They are not these people direct from a distance. So I need to see it from the panel. You should not tell me, you can pay job. Mi naweza vaa dust coat na gumboots nitaingia kwa mtaro. It's good for you to tell me, but let me see it on the panel. So how you are dressed na look yako defines that. But if you come in what I've just said, a good makeup, high heel, you look like a salesperson. You don't look like a technician. However, if you are going for a sales position and to dress what I'm saying, then you also lose the job because you look like a joker. How will you impress our clients who go kwa field? So you need to really be aware what position are you interviewing for. So these are engineers and water professionals. Mostly do, and I've just explained this, neat shirt, trousers, closed shoes. Simple, professional, and showing ready to work. Avoid loud colors or distracting accessories. Loud colors are these guys like gentlemen. Unavaa khaki ya red, Najua umevaa koti ya blue na shati ya white. You look nice, but these colors are overshouting. Find something moderate. Same to my sisters. Get something that is quite moderate. Don't put on very expensive earrings, bracelets, because they portray you as a different person. Mtu anaweza kuwa problematic. Talking of dress code, niko na swali. Is that lady dressed good for an interview? Hello?
I think no,
Why?
on my opinion.
Why?
The dress is very short, but it also depends on which kind of interview they are going to. Yes and no. Yes, if they are going for a cabin crew or something that demands that they wear that way, I believe it's yes. Or any other place where they are allowed, their uniform is the same like this. But if they are going for an engineering position, I don't think so. That's my opinion.
Can I get an opinion from another person?
I also know the dress is not good. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The dress is not good,
And,
sorry?
Yeah, I'm saying the dressing is not good for me because one, sometimes you see these panelists always arrange themselves in different ways. Maybe you can be put in front of them, in front of a team of 5 and you're in front of them, and there is nothing that is opaque in front of you. So you will feel like you're uncomfortable. You'll keep on pulling your dress, but it's not, so it makes you just not very comfortable.
Okay, I don't know whether we have a man in the room. Tusikie maoni ya wanaume. Says tuko na men ama we are just ladies. At least we get a perspective of a man. I can't see the people in the session.
Yeah, we have men in the group. Gentlemen, please say something.
Ni maoni wangwana. Tunasema tu maoni how we think. Okay, so I will keep the two opinions. Sorry. Okay. Proceed, please.
Yes, hi. Huyu ni Papa.
Papa Umundu.
Sasa nyinyi, mimi naona it's not okay. The dress code is not okay. It depends with the interview you are going for.
Okay, so I will partly answer, but keep my full answer to as I proceed. This lady cannot, the way she's dressed, this cannot be fit for any kind of an interview. Ses used a very good example. If I'm going for a cabin crew interview, then I would be fit. But Ses, if you see those ladies, they are normally dressed short, yes, but in suits.
That's correct.
This looks too casual.
A black
this
suit, yeah.
Yes. This one looks like nenda out na boyfriend ama nenda event. Kuna harusi nimeitwa mahali, does not look like a panel. But let me preserve the full opinion.
Question is, what if it's an interview for waitress, maybe somewhere in a pub or something?
Still no.
Okay.
Why no? That what you've just given as the last example is she's close to the right attire for that, but not the right attire. So come an easy pub, there are also places where it's not too professional, maybe. But assuming you're going to a very professional place, you're going to, let's say, Pride Inn, and they want to position you kwa pub area. Those are the people I'm referring to. This dressing, of course, they'll think you'll seduce the high-end clients. or you are there to confuse people, to the choice of colors as well, is not right. If this was a suit, but exactly evil, like in it's made of a suit material, she's very suitable for such kind of interviews. But let's proceed. What about this lady? Let's allow me start with you. Now you.
Okay. I'm choosing my words here because in the setup that I'm working on now, they bother with what you have in mind. They have this kind of people coming for interviews and getting jobs. Like, what are you bringing in the plate? Yeah. But still, for this lady, this is not a dress code for an interview. They would take it like ni kama ni Friday, unaenda kubanjuka. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to reserve whatever I'm saying. This is not for an interview. Even if you have to wear this, maybe it's after the interview, but not when you're coming for an interview.
So thank you, Seth. And I needed to mention something. From an HR standpoint, sometimes we give statements that if you are not careful, utafikiri tuko judgmental, but should be honest. So when I make these comments, I hope hakuna mtu anasema hapa I'm judgmental. I'm just being honest on what we expect. So this lady is dressed very well. But of course, the way Sasa amesema, not fit for the interview. If she had this trouser and changed the blouse, ikave to the sleeve belt, then with some different type of shoe, she can fit very well for a promoter job. What Sasa was saying, like maybe it's a pub, waitress job, she will fit. But mahali amekosa alikosea kidogo sana, the choice of shoes and that blouse. Of course, there are people where you go to interviews dressed in this manner and you're taken, especially in the current generation. Gen Zs anakuja interview venye amejisikia. So yes, sometimes you give the jobs, but if you're facing a serious panel, and of course I'm speaking to professionals, guys who are going for serious jobs, nobody will give you the job because assuming people are looking at that position, mentoring them to become a leader, a manager or something, you lose the job. But let's proceed. This one is just more the same like the others, so let's not dwell on it. But now look at the fourth photo. All of us believe huyo mtu akikuja kwa panel, before you talk to them, you already have a judgment of them. And also remember dress code, I'm talking in the perspective of the psychology of an interviewer as they look at you, before they even talk to you, before they say hi. What are they saying? So nikiangalia these two ladies, and the one especially in a blouse, anaweza fanya interview ya cabin na atapita. Because she's close to what those guys wear. If I look at the other lady, she's dressed in a suit. She can fit all the interviews. The gentleman, of course, dressed very well. However, not dressed for all kind of interviews. Because if you're a technician and you come like this, the chances of you getting the job are very less. Because watu wanaona ni kama you are not ready kuchafuka. However, dress code is a very controversial topic when it comes to any training. What I normally tell people is substitute emotions and invite your rational mind. That way you get it right. You apply, and you know these three, the ones I started with, the three. Hii ni nguo unaweza vaa bado ukikuja job. But pata hiyo job on Friday, chapa luku kama this second lady on Friday. Kipiga hii luku uko poa. Lakini not when you're looking for the job. So let's proceed. Ndo tusidwell sana hapo, it's sometimes emotional, but at least the message is home. Your body language and presentation to the interviewer. On that panel, Najua kuna watu huogopa keep an eye contact. But maintain an eye contact. What does that do? It shows that you are confident, and sometimes inazuia hata panelist kukuuliza zile maswali ngumu alikuwa ameplan. You can imagine, Papa, you are seated in an interview and you're interviewing a lady and she's kept an eye contact. To an extent anakuchanganya. So utapata unasema yes, thank you, accepting the answers, especially if she's articulate, and you don't even see where she's gambled. You preserve your tough questions. And again, you see the confidence in that person. And this applies for everyone. Also, when you're keeping the eye contact, be very careful. Usiweke eye contact yenye itakuportray pia is like you are not in the panel. Umezubaa tu, umeangalia tu mtu hivi. No. Not suggestive eye contact, clear professional eye contact. When you're saying hi to these people na mna shake hands, make your hand firm. Ukishake mtu ukiwa na very weak hand, inaonyesha energy level. Sometimes pia the firmness, shake mtu na energy mingi. Ni Papa anasalamia access kwa panel na amemwekea energy. Tuashinde huyu jamaa tujuani. Why are you doing that? Why are you holding my hand very firm? So make the handshake firm, moderate, and very professional. In most cases, I tell people, don't do too handshaking, ile over respect. No, do the professional. The professional one is where when you are shaking, you bend your body a little bit. Si sana ile ya kuonyesha you are submitting, no. Just a little bit. To just show some level of submission, but also not fear. Number 3. And this one happened to me last week. Sit upright and avoid fidgeting. Last week I was interviewing a candidate, an accountant. Huyu jamaa alikuwa fiti. Lakini venye alitoka tukaulizana, so I'm the one who asked because I was the one chairing the session. Maoni yenu kwa huyu jamaa, two panelists walisema, this guy is good, but I don't like venye amekaa, anakaa mtu very bossy. And because huyu jamaa he bossed, because the chair was so nice, he sat like ako kwa ofisi yake. You see, you've given your best mind. People are thinking you are a very good candidate, but just the sitting position inafanya wakudoubt. So make sure you sit like a candidate, upright. Don't look too bossy. Don't keep on moving the chair. Kama hiyo kiti ni ile ya kusonga. Fix the chair vizuri, relax, kuwa comfortable, kuwa professional. Use gestures to emphasize points. It's very important because it creates also confidence in you. And it makes the person interviewing you asione one, you are uko na fear. Number 2, they should not feel like you're getting lost of your ideas and points. So when you use hands in a moderate way to explain, una exude confidence. And you also make that session very interactive. So on that panel, there's something called communication skills. Again, I'm just picking the highlights. The details, do a lot of research, talk to people offline when you're headed to interviews and all that. So how do you speak? You need to be very clear. Avoid filler words. Filler words ni kama, you know, when you do that, najua tu jamana content. In fact, I will press hard. And if you remember, I said, the mind of an interviewer is they've already formed assumptions. You're a good candidate or you're a bad candidate. So they're looking for what to confirm the assumptions. So ukileta hizi filler words, I start seeing you are contentless. Nitakuhit very hard with questions to actually be very certain that you have the content. But the problem again with filler words, they make you not look like you're a clear person. Ukipewa hii job, how clear are you going to be at the job? So avoid these filler words. Speak with a lot of confidence and be fluent. Structure answers. And if you remember the STAR, take a situation, take an action, and what was the result? Like somebody will ask you, we're employing you as a lead technician. And you wake up one morning and you discover the main pipe supplying water to State House, wherever, to a very serious establishment, has a burst, and all the key people are making calls, and your boss has called you under pressure. So what is your reaction? You must first take this situation, explain the situation first. This is an emergency at G. So what I will do is first call in my best technicians straight to the site. What is the action? Evaluate. Huwezi sema straight to the site na tunaanza kutengeneza. Unatengeneza nini? First thing is you take your best technicians, take your whatever car, ensure that you have all the toolboxes are very well. Have all the common spare that you need. Head to the site, access the situation. After you've seen the situation, make a call to your boss, because remember, EC burst ya kawaida. So what is your action? You must mitigate the situation first. Make a call to your boss. Mwambie this is the situation. Niko technician, we will sort it within the next 1 hour. So 1 hour will be up na maji itakuwa ina flow. You know what you've done? You've given your boss, you've defended your boss's position, because immediately he or she will make a call to the big government person, whoever was calling, amwambie, we are aware of the situation, technicians wako site, in the next 1 hour, we'll have sorted it. Then focus on the results. What is the result? You must fix that mess in the next 1 hour. You must coordinate. You must get kwa hiyo mtaro yourself. And you know, when you give such situational answers, they make you look like a doer and a leader. Other than sema nitatafuta, I will send my technician. How are you sending a technician and bust in the State House? You need to be with the technician on site. So always refer to situations, and in all situations, mtu atakuuliza swali, imagine of situations. Mtu anaweza kuuliza swali useme, and this happened to me when I was working in Safaricom. There was a time when we woke up, you know, you're just referencing a situation. Some of them is not real situation. You've just created it in your mind, but you want to make it real, like you've lived that situation. You want to tell this person, this is not a new situation to me. I've lived it. And this is what I did, and this was the solution. What you are doing is you're communicating to what that guy was looking for. Like, huyu jamaa kumbe ashafanya situation na anajua. Number 3, technical explanations. Be a technical person if you're interviewing for a technical position. And technical does not mean engineering. If I'm a human resource person, all my answers must be technical. I must refer to Employment Act, all the employment laws, what the court has decided in previous cases. See, I'm being technical. Where you care technical, if you want to mention a pipe, don't say a hard pipe, a soft pipe. No, those are wrong. Those hard and soft have names. You know brands that are hard, brands that are soft. Refer to those brands. You know the exact things that you need to use. Refer to the names. What that does, it makes this person know, one, your experience, and 2, you understand your job. But to say, you know, I discovered they had used a hard pipe that when you press it breaks. No. Talk of the pipe, chemical components, what makes it break, and what is your recommendation in that situation. Use this type of a pipe. Reason is, even when you have a big truck passing like Ifinya, this one not break. You know, look technical. Don't look like another guy who has just read things. Amu umefanya job, but you never got involved. So you must be technical. Simple and logic. Don't also be so technical using big jargons. Just be simple, very logic, but also show yourself as a professional. Sijui kama hapo kuna swali, because I believe kunafaa kuwe na swali on that, on communication. It's something that knocks so many people out of interviews. Or we preserve questions to the tail end. Let's proceed. So I know most guys up are technical, engineers, and even water resource guys who interview for technical positions. So how do you prepare? Review fundamental concepts about your profession. All the primary concepts. For instance, I'm a human resource person. When I get to the interview, I should know the employment laws, all of them, the 5 top of them. I should know the common thing that happen in HR, leave management, I should know about employee appraisal. So those fundamental concepts, fundamental policy guidelines, I should have them in my mind. And they should be at my fingertips. I should not look like I'm struggling to find them. Number two, as you prepare, be ready for practical problem solving questions. Na hapa ndo nilisema apply the star concept. Chukua situation, if the question is technical, give the action, end with the result. And be very prepared. Use the right jargons, the right words, the right explanation. Don't over-explain. That pisses people off. Number three is highlight real project experiences. Put yourself in that situation wakati unauliza swali, especially for a technician. You've worked in a company maybe for reverse osmosis. You know, mtu amekuza about what you'll do when you're troubleshooting and there's something. Put yourself directly there and explain it the way you could have done ukiwa pale. Don't explain it how the books explain, because the book knowledge is sometimes not real. You go to site and you find things are totally different. So jipeleke pale kwa hiyo interview kwa akili yako. Take these guys, the entire panel, kwa plant ya reverse osmosis, walk them through. Aja maone ni kama wanaona kwa hiyo room yenye wako, they are seeing a real plant, real machines, and are seeing you sort the problem. I hope I'm clear. So finally, or almost finally, the gist of the training. What is the psychology in action? When an interviewer is, when you're on that panel. So sometimes the hard questions, we or the panel do not look for the correct answers. They just want to test your ability in problem solving and your ability to withstand stressful situations, because the corporate world, the workspaces, there's a lot of stressful situations. Sometimes you be a boss, but you still need to work. So those questions are not meant to get the very right answer. So as you answer them right, make sure you bring out a good positive character, because majorly that is what you are testing for. Again, we look for integrity and honesty. Honesty is where you give answers that are very honest, not imaginative, not internet, not chat GTP, but very honest. Then we look at how your integrity is. Because again, I've employed you, I will trust you with a pickup, spare parts zenye ziko valued at 100,000. I will trust you with people if you're a leader, technicians. So you must show your integrity. Then of course, adaptability. Situations are different, companies are different. So those hard questions, I just want to see your reactions. What are your reactions? I'm not interested at how right or wrong you're going to answer, because remember on that panel, I'm interviewing an engineer, I'm not an engineer. And this is what most candidates don't know. They believe that there is a right answer to those questions, because the people asking the questions in most cases, they don't know the answers. They are not technical, but they're just very experienced, more than you. And they are looking for these soft skills in you. So be very smart as you reply to them, as you answer them, and just know you are the most knowledgeable guy on that panel. So take control of the interview. Return it to them. It's going to want to lead the interview. Dealing with stress on that panel. Umekuja kwa interview, umeuliza tu swali yenye iko difficult, you don't know the answer, you get stressful. Believe you me, your communication, itaanza kuwa na those filler words, because your mind is trying to think as you talk. You got stressed. If you asked a question and honestly ujijibu, just say, for this one, I would be happy to learn, but I've not interacted with this situation. However, if given an opportunity, these are things that I will learn, and given my experience, I'll be able to understand them very fast. Do not over struggle trying to explain something that haujui completely. Number 3, how do you manage your stress on that panel? Breathe very deeply, but don't show you are breathing. Visualize as you talk. Then have that positive talk in you that I am good. Immediately you finish an answer, tell yourself, hiyo nimejibu poa, hiyo nimemaliza vizuri. You know, when you do that, you build your confidence and you let your mind relax for the next question. But ukijiambia, ya, hapo nimekosea, I wish ningesema hivi. The next question, hata ukiulizwa, can you tell us your second name? Believe me, utafanya, my name is says Nyaga. You'll gamble because you already doubted yourself. You've made your mind doubt its capability. So it is continue to build the doubt. Instead, build the confidence in your mind. What do interviewers notice on that panel? They notice calmness and composure. That is what we need. And that is what you need as an employee. Because if you're calm at workplace and you're interviewing as a lead technician or a manager, what it means is, no matter what situation, hata ikuwe difficult aje, utamanage. Hata ukiwa the technician, kwa ground pale utamanage vitu. So that is what we are looking for. That's why nimesema, don't struggle thinking that you need to give very perfect answers. Akunanga answers right na wrong kwa interview. Apart from technical questions that are testing your technical capability, those ones you must be technical to show that pia hii game naelewa. Huwezi sema wewe ni player wa ball na ujui offside rule ni nini. So lazima uonyeshe unajua offside rule. But however, how you show it, hakuna mahali kumeandikwa template that lazima huyu mtu ajibu hivi, no? We just need to see how much you know it. So close to the end, with the common interview mistakes. Arriving late, I spoke about it. And late does not mean actually late. Sometimes you arrive 3 minutes to you being called in. Bado unahema. Kama ulikuwa gate, umetoka kwa gate paka kwa reception mbali, bado uko na kaswet kidogo. Ulikuwa uombe maji kwa reception, umefika kama unaitwa. Ulifika kama you are pressed, you needed to ask for washroom iko wapi. Umefika kama unaitwa ujaenda washroom on the panel. Kuna venye mkojo imekukaza, karibu unasema excuse me, you are struggling, you know. Avoid. Number 2, poor body language. Usionyeshe attitude. Usionyeshe overconfidence yenye itaonyesha like this guy is arrogant. Measure yourself. Number 3, rambling answers. Gonna give answers very well without picking some points here and there. No. Give answers like a professional. This is what you studied in school, and this is your game and you understand it very well. So be very confident as you're answering those questions. Those rambling answers where you feel like una Google ukijibu, and you know, Googling does not mean having a phone. It's like also you're Googling in your mind. You're trying to think, na ile siku nilikuwa Kelly na Wiri alisema nini. You know, you're Googling in your mind. So kutakuwa na those breaks in how you answer. Number 4, ignoring the interviewer's signals or cues. For instance, uko kwa interview, you're explaining something technical. The interviewer who asked was silent. Then uko mid asema, yes, thank you, yes. My friend, what that means does not mean you're answering very well. What it means is, I have got your point, now you're over talking. So learn very quickly to arrive at the end of your statement. But don't think huja mmoja anashinda akisema yes, that is right. They are appreciating how right you are. No, they are simply telling you in a very humble way, we've got the point. Whatever you are doing now is you are over talking. So don't cut yourself short immediately, but arrive at your end very near to that yes and nodding and saying yes, you are right. Maliza maneno ulikuwa unaongea. Overemphasis on technical jargons. Umekuja hapo, papako na experience ya miaka kwa reverse osmosis, anajua all the jargons za industry, amekuja kwa hiyo panel, anataka kukuflex. Unaflexia human resource, sijui unaflexia commercial manager, mtu wako hapo mmoja ni technical manager mwenye maybe hayuko as technical as you are. So those jargons inafanya huyu technical manager anaona, huyu jamaa akikuja atakuwa threat kwangu. Huyu akikuja kuna vitu mingi nitamwambia atasikiza. You are doing harm to yourself. You are overexposing your knowledge, thinking that you are defending yourself, but you are doing harm to yourself. So you must be smart on that panel. How do you make a positive impression on that panel? Listen, active, and nod. Mojali, mtu akikuuliza swali, nod, and before you start answering, sema, thank you for the question. That is a very insightful question. Then head straight to the answer. You appreciate. And hizo appreciation zikuwe tu uniform. Wakati mtu anaexplain kitu, nod. When you nod, you show that you are attentive. When you appreciate, unaisha ni wewe ni mse uko courteous. Hata ukiwork na watu, you'll work very well with the team. Remember also we are testing for teamwork capability. Are you able to work with other colleagues? So, and all that, we need to sit on the panel. So the most assumptions that we have on that panel is, all these people want is to see how much I'm good technically I am. No, that is not what we are looking for. We are looking for that, yes, but we are looking for other things. Unaweza kuwa very top engineer, but you can't work with people, you'll not succeed. You'll also make our organization to fail. So we need to see it. Not appreciate the person asking the questions. Thank you for the question. That is a very good question. Thank you for asking that question. In fact, it reminds me of, answer the question. Number 2, smile naturally. Usiforce smile, usiover smile, lakini piga kaluku, smile hivi bana, watu waone huyu mtu pia ni happy. Kuna wengine wetu tuko na very serious faces. If you keep that face, haja jamaa anaona kama huyu mtu akuja huko atatuterrorize. Weka ka smile fulani hivi. Na wenye hatujui kusmile, just put that face to be loose. Isikae uko too serious. When you have a chance to ask questions, ask insightful questions about the company. There is one of the questions that the internet keeps lying to people, and it's a very bad question. At how is the culture in this place? What that company say, what that question says is, you are a very skeptic person, and if the culture is a bad culture or these people are struggling, you will not stay. My friend, culture is about you and me, how we work, how we talk to each other, how we make our work easier. So why are you minding about the company culture? You mind about the job. Who is my boss? Unauliza, by the way, in this position, what is my expectation for the next 3 months? In this position, who am I reporting to, and how does reporting look like? Do we have periodic reporting daily? I wanted to know, in my position, do I appear on in management meetings? Do I have a chance to also present? And if I have, and if you want to know the culture, uliza tu, how does this company take new ideas? For instance, if I came up with an idea to solve a solution, to solve a problem in the commercial department, even as a technician, is there a room where we have a way that you can bring ideas? That the answer to that question will tell you the culture. Mtu akikwambia, if you're a technician, you need to mind your department. Just your place is toxic. But if you ask, how is the culture in this place? Wrong answer. The internet lies to people to ask such questions. Don't ask such questions. That is why I tell people, when you're preparing for an interview, prepare technical on the internet and your experience, but have a mentor, have a person you talk to. I'm going for an interview tomorrow, nifanye aje. Let them talk to you randomly on how to behave, what to answer. Let them build your confidence. The last one, show enthusiasm for the role. Onyesha watu hii job ushaichukua before wakupe. Be very enthusiastic that this job ni yangu bana. Msiponipea mmefanya mistake. How do you show that? With how you explain, how you own those questions, how you get to be very articulate. That's how you show that this job is mine. From this session, key takeaways before we go to questions. Preparation is key, research and practice. Don't practice to memorize. Practice to understand. How do you practice? Go to your mind, take yourself to all the situations, kama uko na experience, how did you solve things? How did your boss solve things? That is the practice. On the web, read about things, do not memorize. Number 2, dress, hygiene, and body language matter. In fact, they form 50% of the interview before you go technical. Number 3, structured answers impress, especially STAR method. And we've learned about the STAR method. Apply it, memorize it, make it very easily applicable to your mind. That question zote unaenda kwa scenario, what is your action and what is your result for it? Again, just to remind us, what is the STAR? It is the situation, task, action, result. If you can forget everything from this session, just remember this STAR method. And when you remember it, make it so natural that people will not know you're applying it. But believe me, it will give you even a job you don't qualify for. Understand the interviewer psychology. Every question that comes, don't just answer. Jaribu understand mbona huyu mtu anauliza hiyo swali. As they're asking, quickly think through and understand mbona anauliza hiyo swali, so that you ask, you answer to the expectation. You just not answer because you know. The last one on that, last key takeaway is stay calm, confident, and professional. A hard question was placed to you, haukujua jibu, usitense. Atu expect ujue kila kitu. You are just a human being. Be very calm, be very confident to say on this one, I've not interacted with it, but being that I'm a quick learner, I know. If I'm faced with such a problem, I can do research. And the good thing nowadays, we have AI, I have colleagues in the industry, I can make calls, I can research and I'll solve the problem. Be calm, relax. That marks my end. Sorry for the talking. So, says what to unmute. Kama kuna any question, I'm ready to answer, or we are ready to answer. Concern, questions, input, comments, where you think you can add more, it's very much allowed. The floor is ours.
Yeah, guys, can we have the questions now? I would love to talk about, I don't know whether it's the interviews these days. I went for an interview where they asked me the book that I'm reading. That is a question that sijasikia kwingi. So is that a question that you can expect in the interviews, Mr. Sassia?
Thank you very much, Seth. It's a question nowadays you get from almost all interviews. Actually, I ask it a lot. You can imagine ukiuliza kwa interview, which books are you reading ama you've read? Then hata heri hata uguess. But be very careful in your guess. Unaweza guess kitabu nimesoma na mimi ndo nakuuliza. But you have to read. Do you know what? That question is normally driven towards, are you a person who invests in knowledge? Are you reading? Because knowledge can only be gotten through reading. And remember, I'm quite sure you're also interviewing for a leadership position. We want to know whether you are this person who continually develops yourself to become a good leader. And we just need to know what you do with your free time. Do you read? If you read, you are knowledgeable. If you read, you can research. If you read, you have knowledge. So that question is common. And it is very important, number one, for us to read books. Then number two, when you're going to an interview, have your top 3 books. Quickly, last week, last month, I was reading book Y. This month, I'm reading this, and I'm planning after this. There is a book a friend has recommended. And say the title and the writer. Huyo mtu hata labda somangi vitabu, but anapata, okay, this guy reads a lot. So yes, since it's a common question, and it's a very important question kwa panel.
Thank you. I really wanted to know that, because most of the interviews, mostly where we are, where people don't value reading a lot, it came as a surprise. But I was reading a book, so I was able to just answer the question. So the panel is open. I have asked my question. Please, let's go ahead and ask our questions.
Questions, comments, input, all of them.
Frederick.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for taking your time and initiative for arranging all this. I really want to appreciate you. Sio rahisi, ingine tuliingia kwa field blindly. We suffered, but I thank you for that. It was a very good one. Just one question, like huwa inanishinda, like you find someone asking you, like, what is your expectation?
That is in terms of salary, right?
Yes, and you don't know, like some companies, they have hidden their salary scales. It's difficult to find out. So what is the best answer you can give?
The best answer is you must quote a salary. Do you know why? At that moment, wakati uko kwa hiyo interview, papa, you are a product. So you can imagine today, if you went to a supermarket na wewe unauza asali, then the supermarket wakuulize asali unauza pesa ngapi, then waulize nyinyi mna will kuinunua na pesa ngapi. It simply shows you have a product that you don't know the price. Me as the product kwa hiyo panel, I must know my price. Already najua salary na ansai na najua salary nataka. So I must mention a price. I must say, kwanza kama una work, it's an easy question. Currently, I'm earning a salary of X. And for me to move and, of course, realize growth, I'm looking at a range of 10 to 5. However, I am flexible when the right time comes to listen to your budgets. Then we can have a negotiation. If you can arrive at a place where it satisfies my needs and also fits in your budget, we'll agree. But always don't ask, what is your budget? Okay, fine. Does it mean unatafuta job juu unatafuta salary ya pesa ngapi? Lazima ukuwe umejua. So that question, you must answer it very precisely with absolute numbers. But normally, usiseme a specific, peana range. Also, don't give a very huge range. Unajua huge range means una gamble. Give a range of at most 10,000 at most. Then don't answer the salary in backshop. Pia sema, and of course on top of that, my current job niko na maybe fuel allowance of why I have a medical cover. They also give I don't know what and what. So I'll be expecting all the conversations around that also include benefits. You open to them everything because you want a job with them. There's nothing to hide. So hiyo swali lazima ujibu papa. And also wakati unajibu papa, don't care about their budget, remember. What you need to care in this moment is, wewe ni product kwa shelf ya super, lazima ukuwe na price tag. Before mtu abagain, lazima akuwe ameona hii price ni ngiri 10. Lakini jamaa anataka kubagain rudi 7. But kama jamaa juu price hii kitu, anaweza sema kitu ya 10,000 aanze na 900 shillings. Does not make sense. So hiyo product yako lazima uistampie price. Ndio jamaa wapate stress ya kuona kama watanunua ama watabagain wa afford. However, kama you are new in the profession, lemo unapata the first job. Be very clear. Right now, I do not have a job. I am willing to take your entry level salary. Because una job, so huwezi enda hapo kusema unataka sijui pesa ngapi. Wewe kitu unataka hiyo time ni job.
Entry level bwana, sio atakufinya.
Hawatakufinya. Unajua, you see, papa uko jobless for instance, umepata opportunity ya interview. Alafu umeambia watu nataka 50,000. Na these guys, hii position ni entry level alikuwa anataka kulipa 30,000. Unajua watakupea job. Utasema huyu jamaa ana experience anatafuta 50,000 ya nini? Wape freedom ya kuchoose salary because at that moment honestly, sisi wote tushakuwa jobless. At the moment you're going for an interview for your first job na una job, haunanga interest na do. Unakuanga na interest na hiyo job. Whatever utakulipa nayo. Nita complain baadaye.
Sawa.
I think I agree on that, like on all levels, because giving a range is important. I remember I gave a salary that was less than what the company was offering and I lost a job. So it's very important to give a range. If it's 20 to 30, within 20 to 30 or 30 to 40, it's very important. Na venye umesema, the entry people who are coming into the job, if it's your first job, you can't have a lot of standards. So I think I agree on that. So kama wewe ni, it depends. If you have any experience, you can be able to quote your salary because you have something that can be that you are looking forward to more than whatever you are achieving. But if it's the first job and you have not had a job, you have nothing to compare. So you'd rather just play it safe and say, I can do with what you have in the budget as I learn and achieve more skills and grow in my career.
Very true, Sas. Now, umesema you are quoting a salary that is low to what they are giving. Another thing is, I said also research about the company. Assuming leo una apply for a position of facility manager in a company. Why? You might not know their salary, but just research what is the range of a facility manager within this industry in this region. Reason is, unaweza imagine you're interviewing a guy, nyinyi mko na budget kama ni Kenya, that is ya 300,000 for a manager, na huyu jamaa sema I'm ready to take 130,000. You know that answer. Do you know the reason why you don't get the job size is because you've already told these people you are holding a junior position currently. Because it means for you to want 130, around 90, 80. So nobody will want to give you a salary ya kutoka 90 mpaka 300. So hata kama una earn 100 and you've been thinking nikipata 180, 200 niko poa, but umeona you are going for a facility manager, umeresearch, umeona salaries in a range 250 to 500. Arrive at an average. If I'm given a range of 250 to 300, I am comfortable. And of course, I have to look at the benefits so that you overprice in that moment, but you are pricing yourself based on what you think this position is going to attract. But also which company are you interviewing for, what is their range. So vitu unaweza pata online. Roughly unaweza pata, but don't ask an employee who works there. Huku kwenu mnalipanga manager pesa ngapi? Unless ni beshta yako. But at LinkedIn uulize mtu, labda unauliza mtu atakuwa kwa panel. Ama unauliza mtiaji, ama unauliza mtu that company is replacing. Yeah.
Perfecto, perfect.
Any other questions, guys? We need your questions. We are learning. I have my pen and paper. I'm learning. Let's ask the questions. And if we have no questions, we are going to close the panel. So let me hear the questions, please.
Yes.
Yes,
not
sir.
Saisi. Frederick,
Yes.
what can help someone to recover kama umefika interview late?
Unfortunately, hakuna. You see, there's different types of lateness.
You talked about kuna ile like unplanned. You are going for an interview, something happened that you cannot stop. So you arrive at the interview, you're already late. So how can you like, from your point of view, how can you like tell someone he can catch up with the situation and compose himself or herself?
The first thing you do is when you notice, interview ni tuseme 9, na imefika about 8:20, 8:30 una notice automatically inaenda kuchelewa. The first thing you do is pick a call and call ule mtu alikuwa ameku-invite, mwambie I'm in this situation and I believe I'm going to be late by 30 minutes. I'm kindly asking if you can reschedule me at least 30 minutes to time. Then when you do that, start speaking to yourself. I have rescheduled the interview, there is nothing wrong. To build your confidence, because normally what happens ni confidence yake inakuanga distracted. So unaenda kwa hiyo panel kwanza umetense nini, then if these guys accept, when you get to that panel, the very first thing you say is you apologize. I am very sorry for coming late, but it was just because as I was coming, the car I taken got an accident. So there's nothing much I could do. We tried to resolve it and I had to take a motorbike. If you are driving, you need to explain your car. Give them the scenario in a very short way and apologize for coming late. However, within yourself, Papa, build the confidence that hata kama nimechelewa, nimecommunicate, niko safe. Ndo usikwe anxious. But as much as possible, fika tu mapema. Me normally what I do, because I've gone for some interviews, kama ni place iko fit nini, huwa na identify ka restaurant hapo. So mi nitakaa mapema, kuja hapo niitishe coffee, ni relax. Ikibaki about 40 minutes to time ndo natoka. Na make sure before nitoke nimeingia washroom hapo, niko fresh, nitoka niko poa. So by the time nafika hapo place, hakuna story nataka kwenda washroom, because again, kuna hiyo feeling umefika reception, the first thing unaambia mtu washroom yenu iko wapi. So mimi wana identify ka restaurant hapo, na relax, naitisha coffee, I take the coffee, nipumzike vizuri, then 45 minutes I start that ka small walk to the place. Yeah.
Sawa.
There is something else, Papa. I forgot to mention it. Wajua watu wengi wakienda interview wana transnight. They transnight preparing. It's a big mistake. If you're going for an interview, in fact, what you need to do is sleep enough. Lala enough, lala mapema vizuri, ngorota kabisa, amka asubuhi uko fresh. Reason is a tired mind inakuanga less innovative. It attracts anxiety. Then it makes you dizzy in the interview. Unajaribu kusmile na macho yako ni red. Uso yako imejikunja. So lala fiti, prepare mapema, read. You can't prepare on everything. Kama ukume prepare on everything, have the confidence. Plus, come if you have experience, why should you over prepare? You just need to set up your mind.
Yeah.
Sasa waremba ulizi maswali ama wanapika.
I think waremba wanaangalia ball. And I think there is something that you have said that it has resonated with me. The interviewer is not there to see much of your technical skills, not unless it's a very technical job. I think when you touched on your confidence, your composure, how you present yourself, are you how you can demonstrate teamwork. I think these are things that I can say I have seen personally in the interviews where I didn't even prepare much of the technicals, but I went there and I interacted with the people, and you were like, okay, we are in a very work toxic environment. Would you be able to manage? Like you start talking one-on-one, and by the time you're coming out of that interview, it's like a negotiation. It's like a conversation that you had, because through your confidence, you are able to link with the interviewer and even ask them questions that are very personal, So I think it takes much of confidence than even the preparation itself. Kama ni mambo ya reverse osmosis, you know what you're going to do. So they are there to see how, if we give you a team, are you going to manage that team that is leading the reverse osmosis? So it's how you present yourself, I think. And I think that is the most important thing, as you have put it in the slide. And I really agree on that.
Thank you very much, sir.
It is very true. It is very true. So the last interview I had, I prepared a lot. I didn't know, like, it was something different. And I read, but when I read the interview, the questions which I met, it was just about the problems that they have, which I don't know. So it is just about building your own confidence and how you are going to answer them. Because they are just giving, like, in this such a scenario, we have this, how are you going to help us? When they finish, they will come with another. Like, they have problems, they just want a solution. How you're going to solve? You just have to find a way how, because it is now between, like, you, how to handle things. It's not about even what you know, like how you are going to join them and how you are going to make things work. So it is just like mindset. You just have to be prepared. It doesn't matter what you know, because some people, even they don't know what they want to ask. So it is just like, for me, I've learned, like, you have to prepare, but just be confident in yourself.
That's very true, Papa. You see, most of the time, how does a position fall vacant? It falls vacant because kuna shida inafaa ukuje usolve. So these people are not looking for your technical capability, notwithstanding, they're just looking for the solution to their problem. In most cases, if you are going for a leadership interview, position inaenda kusimamia watu, nobody cares about your technical capability. And again, by the time you reach at that moment wakati unaenda for such an interview, they already know you know the technical part of it. So they want to see, are you able now to come and lead? Are you able now to come and organize our guys? So hizo vitu na researching a lot technical, it's just wasting our time. Second, kuna kitu nilisema and very important. When you're answering technical questions kwa panel, make them situational. Make your technical question like, some 2 years ago when I was working in Qatar in this company, this happened, and you forge that situation like it could happen because when you're so experience, this happened. And says I think this session enough to separate between people with the experience and guys who have just graduated, because I discover here the situations and how you handle the two is very different. But if I'm interviewing for a leader, I don't want to see a technical person. I want to see a leader. Okay.
Correct. I think, yeah, I think we will just do a poll, and if many people will register as students, we will do both sessions, because I think we really need. Kate, you have something to say?
Yeah, so
hello.
as you see, I'm just listening to. Yeah, I'm saying.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, I want to talk.
Okay, Kisiwa, let Kate finish, and then you will say something. Yeah, we'll give you an opportunity.
Okay, you will inform me.
Sure.
Yeah, you will inform me so that I can talk.
Okay. Kate, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. The discussion is so nice, huh? And I've experienced almost everything that we are discussing, because, and this thing of being so much technical is really not advisable when you're going for a leadership position. You see, like me, there's this position I'd applied for branch manager, just here in Kisumu with a new company coming in. And I want to tell you, I performed well, but they came up with an excuse that, this one was for bachelor, something like that, and there you have your diploma, which is a very big challenge. And now, back to the other one of the salary expectation. Let me tell you, you see, organizations or companies are very different. You may have performed very well and answered everything. That's the main thing that pulls you down is majorly on the salary expectation. Why am I saying this? You find that the salary expectation is the number that has very high marks. And there's a day aki hata nilihurumia tu mwanafunzi mwingine alikuwa amekuja interview somewhere. I was one of the panelists, and among the 5, this young lady was the best, but her salary expectation was so high. And imagine she was not taken because of that salary, the high salary rate that she chose. So this salary expectation, you can never know. And when you go to some of the website, when now you want to go and do that interview in this same company or organization, you've tried searching for the salaries on the same position. Some of them don't show up. And like now, when you go there as an experienced person, you know yourself, you know what you qualify for. But now when you raise what you expect and what you feel like you want, utafall under 0, because you see, unaona hizo marks za interview, if I'm not wrong, Sassia, wanasema from 50 to 60,000, 6 from and below. There are different marks that they give. So when it comes to salary expectation, you're just down. So this question of salary expectation is very important, and how to handle it sometimes is always very difficult. Yeah.
Very true. It's a difficult question, and at the same time, an easy question. So it just depends with also you understanding the position you're interviewing for. You see, even without knowing the structure of the company, now umeenda tuseme you're interviewing for a technician, you can quickly ask a few, and that's why we also need to have networks. Huku kwenu technician hii level analipwa pesa ngapi? If you ask for 3 guys, you already know the salary that these guys will pay, because utapata range, utapata between the guys you've asked iko between 50 and 80. So it's easy for you to say, if I'm given between 65 to 75, I'm comfortable. Okay. Are we still?
Kate, I hope you have gotten the answer. All right. Kate, I think, has disappeared. Kisiwa, you can go
Sorry.
ahead. Kate, umerudi. I hope
Hey.
umepata answer.
Yeah, I started giving it a question to have that network, then hapo kila kitu kapotea tu. Nikasikia kisiwa.
Okay. Sorry. Sassia, maybe you can repeat yourself.
So, Kate, what I was saying, that question is hard and easy. And why am I saying hard? Hard is if you really want to quote the exact salary. Easy because you can also benchmark. If you know 5 other friends that are working as technicians in 5 other companies, just ask them, muko kwenu technician ile level analipwa ngapi? You'll discover the difference is not more than 20,000. So ukisikia wanakuambia between moja alikuambia 50, mwingine 60, mwingine 80, another one 75, then you simply know if I say, if I get a salary of 65 to 75 or 70 to 80, I'm comfortable. You are not very far from within their range, definitely. So also having networks is something very important. That's what I actually said. And I hope this time umesikia juu umepotea tena.
Sijapotea. You're loud and clear. And I heard everything. Maybe just something that I forgot. Asking. You remember the explanation you were giving about the dressing code? Then there's this final dressing code. It was dressing code number 4, where people were there on suits. The ladies and men were there on suits.
Yes.
So a lady just put on a very nice dress. Yenye si lazima ikuwe suit, and hoping that atakuwa judged.
Yes.
Because some people may judge you like some people may judge you that this is so church girl, you know?
No. Depends. You see, the choice of clothes depends with the position. You can put on a very good dress, but also make sure the dress looks professional and official. It should not look like you've gone to a church choir, and it should not look like umeenda chama, or it should not look like it's a Friday unaenda dunda. So just choose something that is good. A dress works for interviews, but choose a dress that looks professional.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Kisiwa, you can go ahead.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, boss.
I was too late because I was busy at work.
Now we understand.
Yo, asa mi nataka kuuliza, my first interview, it was very terrible to me because it was my first interview.
Yes.
I was interviewed by the panelist was it was British Germany's.
Yeah.
The only African was HR. Na ile nilitoa makaratasi yangu kwa wale wazungu. They recognize my certificates. Though I was having certificate in water engineering, certificate in plumbing, and then I was having grade 3 and grade 2 in plumbing. But here HR, I don't know whether HR was alikuwa na mtu wake sijui nini do. Wale wazungu walioniuliza maswali yao about plumbing and then how water engineering is all about. Na niliwajibu, but HR alikuwa anauliza maswali yenye haiko related na about water engineering and plumbing. Yeye alikuwa anauliza maswali ya mechanical, mwenye alifanya mechanical engineering. So ni sikuuliza kwa mbona unaniuliza maswali haya, ndio nilikuwa najaribu ku explain, lakini baadaye ilinishinda juu yeye alikuwa wale wazungu waliniuliza maswali wakasema okay, you are a friend. So akapatiwa chance ya HR kuuliza maswali. So nikawa na deal na HR. Sasa HR yeye ananiuliza maswali ya mechanical, unaniuliza about, ilikuwa ni about kuna mashine nyingine yenye temu yenye nafanya, ndio na huwa naziona mashine za mambo ya wajua kwenye nafanya ni kampuni ya kutengeneza chupa. So zile mashine kwenye naona pale ni zile mashine za tuseme kuna
Is it blow molding and injection?
Ya mambo ya molding.
Okay.
Hata ukiniuliza mambo ya molding, mimi hata sijui mambo ya molding. Na mambo ya mimi hata alikuwa mambo ya upepo, najua hewa, mambo ya compressor ndio ni mashine za compressor. Ukiniuliza mambo ya mashine za compressor mimi nilikuwa sijui. So yeye alikuwa na dini hiyo, sijui kama alikuwa ana ufahamu wa hizo mashine za compressor. Hiyo ni compressor. Sasa mimi baadaye mwisho, unajua ile first mtu akikuuliza swali wezi, unajua kwa panel wezi ongea kuwa hiyo kitu mimi sijui, unajua utaonekana ignorant na mwenye dharau, hauku prepare. So unabidi ujitetee kwa kadri ya uwezo wako. So baadaye nika ile interview ilipoisha, message yenye nilipata, hata message yenye nilipata kwa hiyo interview yenye ilikuwa imeisha sawa, naita watu kama umekosa chance ama nini, haikuja kwa jina langu, ilikuja kwa jina la mwingine. Kwa hata ilikuwa si Kiswarimba, ilikuwa Swanso, kama ni Alex Karuki. Sasa mimi nikashangaa, like seriously, yani mtu anakutumana message yenye hata si jina lako. So mimi nikashangaa, sasa hii ilikuwa ni kama kuna mtu alikuwa amechaguliwa, that's why walikuwa ni interview for the sake of friendship, the owner of the company. Sasa mimi nikashangaa, akasema sasa interview kama hizi itakuwaje? So after hapo mimi nikasema okay, hiyo ilikuwa ni interview yangu ya kwanza. Ya pili nikaenda, lakini tuseme salary ni ile interview nilikuwa the best. Then salary ilikuwa ni out of my expectation. Then nilipofika hapo wameniita, mimi nikaitisha signing document yenye wote bakina, kama ni contract letter huo bakina yako, mimi ni bakina yangu, lakini wakanambia hapa hakuna hiyo signing documents yoyote, so ni wewe ufanye kazi tukulipe. So nikauliza, kulipwa itakuwa through bank au? Akasema ni M-Pesa. Sasa mimi nikasema siwezi fanya hii kazi kwa M-Pesa, siwezi fanya hii kazi, maana hapa hata nikisema nitaenda kwa ofisi ya labor hakuna rating document yote yenye tumeandikishiana.
Okay, Kisiwa, I will interrupt you. We need a question. Tunataka swali tafadhali, because wengine wameinua mikono and we are going to 10 o'clock. We need questions. Please, tupatie swali kwa HR.
Haya, sawa. Haya, tuseme kama nimepata hiyo kuandikisha
Sio umepotea ama ni mimi peke yangu? Sasa unamsikiza?
Hapana, ni kama amepotea kidogo. Kisiwa, karibia simu.
Halo.
Haya, umerudi.
Tunakusikia sasa.
Sasa nauliza, tuseme mtu amepata kazi mahali, then after hapo unauliza writing documents, usign kama ni contract letter, akwambie fanya kazi baadaye, tutashughulikia hiyo swala yako. Je, tuseme kama unajua sometimes tuko desperate na kazi, je unastahili ufanye ama unastahili uachane nayo kazi?
So very quickly to answer you Kisiwa, number one, ile interview unasema ulizwa maswali ya mechanical. Two reasons.
Yes.
Maybe the HR wanted to test you, aone your patience, or the HR hakuwa anajua kitu yote, I'll research on the internet. So what I said in such cases, just have the courtesy ya kusema, for that question, I don't think I've interacted with it because I'm a water engineer, and that sounds like you go very more technical. However, if this is what you're looking for and I'm given a chance, I can learn and understand. You see, very quickly, you tell the entire panel, the questions now, so I'm able to tell these are not related to water engineering.
Okay.
Number two, you mesema about documentation.
Yes.
If you have a job today and you're looking for a job and upate such a thing, don't take the job.
Yes.
If I am jobless, I will take the job. Then it's a gamble. I'll say, let me gamble and see kama watanilipa nitaendelea. If they don't pay me, I will not continue. However, the contract is important, but when you have a conflict, there are other ways to prove that you're an employee. Let no one ever lie to you. At it's only the contract that will ensure that you're an employee. No. At it's only paying through the bank. Bank, M-Pesa, and all the other payments are just payment platforms. There's nothing unique to read. It's because we've known salary nafa ilipwe kwa bank, it makes it decent. But even if you are paid on M-Pesa or a check, salary is still paid. If to say such a job you took it because you are desperate and there is a labor dispute, the fact that you've been receiving consistently money from this employer means you are an employee. Actually, we have what we call verbal contracts, which are non-written contracts, and written contracts. So you will be working based on a non-written contract, and when you have a labor dispute and you go to labor in such a case, they will litigate that case based on the standard legal provisions, because now you do not have a contract that was defining all the elements. But to prove that you worked with the company and legally worked with the company, you don't need a contract per se. You just need to prove I've been paid with this company consistently. So if they're saying it's not payment, and then define why were you sending me money every month?
Okay.
So legally, unwritten contracts are contracts.
Okay, I've understood me. Understood.
Karibu sana. Says maybe next
Saisi.
person.
Saisi,
Yes.
Can I add something on what he asked? In life, I just want to tell him something with my experience. It's not about being a water engineer. It is a very big term. And don't limit yourself and say, like, I'm a water engineer, you just want to deal with. Just to produce water, you need a lot, you need even those compressors. So that's why, like, says someone can ask you, which book did you read? It's not about any book. You can just do research, do mechanical work, and just be like an all-round person, because being an engineer is just an engineer. It doesn't matter mechanical or civil or who, but you need knowledge. So every other time you have to improve yourself. Thank you.
Very true.
Okay, let me confirm to him. But sometimes we as a water engineer will be asked about compressor. So after when you go to an interview, so somebody ask you about compressor. Have you learned about compressor at school, at water engineering, at Kewi? So it will be your first to hear about compressor. So what will you do?
That's why I said, for such a case, if you are a new entry the job, just be categorical. I have noticed, and be very respectful. Thank you very much for the question. I've not interacted with compressors before because
Sassia,
my
I
training,
think
and you
you'll
can
use
see.
Swahili.
Jibu
Kisiwa kwa Kiswahili ataelewa vizuri.
Kisiwa pole.
Aya.
Kisiwa kwa situation kama hiyo. Nimeelewa mimi, wacha nikujibu na Kiswahili. kwa situation kama hiyo, ikiwa ni kazi yako ya kwanza, ile kitu ambayo ni mzuri kwa hiyo panel, ambie tu panelist, asante sana kwa swali. Lakini ukiona sina very high experience ama sina experience kubwa, so mimi nimefanya water engineering na nimenotice zile maswali unaulizwa ziko kama ni compressor, maybe ni HVAC engineering or something. So ile naweza sema is give me the opportunity nijifunze hiyo kazi, kwa sababu engineering the basis and the principles are same. Nataka tu experience. So naomba ukinipea hiyo kazi nitajifunza, lakini kwa saizi knowledge yangu kubwa iko katika area ya water engineering. So you answer very well, and you also tell the next part, the full panel kwamba unaelewa kwamba maswali umeulizwa ni ziko kidogo out of your academic profession na zimeenda kando kidogo, in a very respectful way, kwa heshima inamaanisha.
Cecily, you had a question? Kisiwa, is it okay? Umeelewa?
Nimeelewa.
Oh, haya. Cecily, you had a question?
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
I'm asking, when you're being asked if you are to be offered this chance, how long or how much time do you need for you to report? Then you say like I need 2 weeks if I am to be offered this job. And then another question follows. Why 2 weeks? Why not a month? What should one answer?
Perfect. I like that question. Do you know what? When you are asked how long do you need to join, that question is not asking the period that you need for you to join. That question is asking
Existing work.
Whether you contract. If you are currently to tell them, currently where I'm employed, my contract stipulates a notice period of 2 weeks. So I presume if given the job, once I receive the letter and I've submitted a resignation at my workplace, I'll need 2 weeks to serve my notice before I join. The reason they ask is we are trying to determine whether ni ule mtu tamka asubuhi useme I have resigned and gone. So what you need to do is refer them to your current employment contract. If you are jobless, tell them I'm available immediately. I only need 3 days to prepare and join. But if you are employed, you have to refer to your current contract. What is the notice period? So if your notice period in the contract is 2 weeks, stipulate 2 weeks. However, most employers know notice periods are 1 month. So when you tell them 2 weeks, they just know you are a person who wants to ghost the other employee, and you'll ghost them too.
Okay.
I hope you are well answered.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hilda, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Okay,
Hi.
my question is, like for that you were saying you were asked like, what book are you reading currently? For somebody like me, I don't read books. What am I going to answer such a question?
It's a hard one, because if you don't read books and you've been asked, and imagine saying I don't read books, I said the only way to gain knowledge, and Papa has mentioned something, you continually need to gain knowledge as a professional. And how do you gain knowledge? Actually, it's not through formal education. Formal education makes you a professional. But how do you gain continuous knowledge is reading books. So it is really complicated for someone who doesn't read and that question is posed. So there's no better way to answer it. So maybe the best way is you start reading at least a book in I don't know how long, to just at least have an answer to it. Because if you say also you don't read books, you could also say, alternatively, I don't read books, but I like watching them as movies. So I've watched this movie, and let them be relevant movies. So it's the same action movie in such a situation. It has to be a movie that is about leadership, about, I don't know, such things. So you can substitute the alternative when into a movie, but with same entertainment movies. You have to get some educational movies.
Okay, I can add to that. You can also maybe touch on, I listen to podcasts that talk about leadership, or I listen to podcasts that talk about the same thing that you're interviewing for. So I am not more of a I'm not more of a book person, but I listen to podcasts that talk to what you are interviewing for. I think that is also something you can say. And I would love to say something else. The work environment is evolving. They will look at your composure even when you are talking about it. So talk about something that you can explain. Because when I talked about the book I was reading, actually I was reading a book by Dr. Esther, I think Thriving Couples founder. And they asked, what is the book talking about? What is the book about? So I was able to explain, because I read the book. It's about balancing being a mother, being a wife, and being a surgeon, or being a doctor. So I was able to explain that scenario. They might go on and ask, which podcast have you listened to and what did you learn from the podcast? So they are still trying to put you in a position where you will be uncomfortable. The issue is not whatever you are watching. They might not even know about it, but they want to see whether your mind is expanding. There is another interview that I went before that I was asked, which was the last course that you took? Have you taken any course within the last 1 year? They want to see, are you progressive? Are you increasing in knowledge? This is what they are looking for.
Says you are very right. But what you're also saying, Hilda, what it means is, also, if you're not a book person, you must be a podcast person. If you're not a podcast, you must be a movie. You must be somewhere, because usually you must have an answer. If you don't, you cannot be, you're not reading, you're not taking a short course, you're not a movie person, you're not a podcast person. So what are you doing? What are you doing to gain knowledge? Actually, the next question is in that regard. So how are you gaining more knowledge and getting understanding of the current affairs in your professional leadership? So you have to be something to answer that question.
Okay.
I hope we have answered your question, Hilda.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Anybody with a question? We want to wrap up the session. I think it was so informative today. Anybody else with a question, so that we don't like to block anybody with a question. That's why we have this interactive session. Do we have anybody else with a question?
Yeah, says I have this last question that I would like to ask.
Please go ahead, Kate.
You see, there is only these advertisements that says the qualification for bachelor, and you as a person who has experience outside here, you see these qualification of a bachelor, but you feel like you can fit in that position, then you apply. Luckily, you get shortlisted. So when let's assume the two of you go to the interview, and these lower person with diploma performs very well, and the person with a bachelor, you perform better compared to the person with a degree. So my question is, will you be given this opportunity, or they will still look at papers?
So thank you for the question. Academic qualification is meant to scare people. It's not what you are looking for. If today you are looking for a technician, you want a guy who will sort the problem. You can get a degree master's guy who cannot solve the problem. So what they look at is, do you have basic knowledge? Yes. Come to the interview, present yourself in the best way forward possible. I mean, you will get the job, because at the moment when you get the job, the degree, the master's, the diploma, the certificates are not working. It is you who is working. So those jobs, ukiona G qualification, master's degree holder, apply them. Let me tell you, when you're reviewing CVs like myself, I look at the academic qualification as the last thing. And let me give you another secret. On your CV, we have very current CV formats. but don't research about a lot in the internet. Make sure your academic qualification is coming last after you've already shown your experience. So that I have gone through your experience when I see, you're a diploma holder, but I'm already convinced, a diploma holder with 6 years, done this. So that academic qualification does not change my mind even for a second. It's only in government that value a lot academic qualification, that if they say it is a degree, then you must have one. But in the corporate world, my friend, apply even for those jobs that are asking for PhD. As long as you know you are qualified for that job, you've looked at the JD and this is my job, apply them. And when you go to the interview, express yourself, let them know your knowledge. Your academics will come last on that panel. And in some cases, it will not be even be asked. Utafanya the interview, utaenda bila mtu kuuliza, and why is it that you have a diploma?
I agree with Engineer Sassia on this, Kate. I have seen somebody go for an interview that was written Arabic speakers. And he aced the interview and he was asked to say something in Arabic and he says what the metro says. I think Aaron will understand. There are those, like, if it's an elevator that is opening and closing, whatever it says, the guy just said whatever the metro says. And the people burst out in laughter, wondering, is this guy normal? And they gave him the job. They gave him the job because of the confidence that he had. He's not an Arabic speaker. He just researched small words and he even forgot whatever he had read for the whole night. And he went and said Abduab Tupulak, the way the metro says. And the people were like, wow. And he's doing great. He's a manager right now. He started a very small guy and he has been promoted because of his attitude. So confidence, as I said in the first meeting that we had, will take you where competence cannot take you. So apply for those jobs, as Sassia is saying, apply. When they call you, dress up like that engineer. Dress up like somebody with a bachelor's. When you reach there, even they can't even notice that you don't have a bachelor's. They will be, he's saying it's the last question they normally check. They first want to check your confidence, your competence, how you can handle issues, how you can handle crisis. What did you do when you are faced by a difficult situation in the last place where you are coming from? All this is what they are looking for.
And says to add on that, when I was talking, I mentioned I started my human resource at University of Nairobi and got a new job. I got a new job with the only professional academic papers I had was CPS Section 4 and my diploma of engineering certificate. The human resource was ongoing, but I got a new job that was mid-level, almost one step to the leader, to the top position. Then I got to the top without anyone asking me whether I've graduated. Yes, I had graduated, but no one asked for my paper. So those papers, those statements are there to just scare people and hii ni ya mtu wa degree. Mtu wa degree akiapply mwenye ana experience, they will also not get a job. So apply for those jobs. And when you get the interview, go like a degree holder. Do not go there thinking I am a diploma holder now. No, present yourself like one. Even if they want a master's, present yourself like a master's holder. And by that, I mean the confidence. How you take up that interview, how you show them your experience is what is going to give you the job, not your previous experience. No, I mean not your academic qualification. That's what I mean.
Says
Yes.
Yeah, one more thing I want to add. People, we should go for this interview. Actually, we will learn something from them. I can give you, like, for my good example, whatever she asked, it was very right. You can go for an interview and it reach a point like the panel sits and say, see, one person say like, oh, as per the requirement, it is a bachelor's. Okay, this person is very good, but we are not going to consider him. But do you know, in that panel, there are those people who believe you are so good. And when something comes up, you will be the first person they will look for. So it is not about like you feel disappointed when they tell you about bachelors or what. So sometimes we learn something from there. Don't feel disappointed. There are so many opportunities that they don't need this. And you will